Welcome to English Country Life. In this episode we're going to be talking about choosing a breeding rooster, or in England we call them cockerels, for your chicken flock. Hi, my name's Fiona. This is Ramesses, our breeding cockerel for this year. He's a great rooster and he'll do us proud. We're working with Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, who have a fantastic podcast, and a link to their website and podcast is in the description down below. In episode 19 of their podcast, we discuss choosing a breeding cockerel for your chicken flock. And this video will show you all the visuals to demonstrate what we've been talking about. We look for temperament, conformation, size and fertility. So let's take each one in turn. The most important aspect in a breeding cockerel for us is having a rooster who is happy to be handled. He needs to be sweet-natured, so his temperament must be very, very calm. As you can see, he's happily sitting on my knee here. I can pick him up very easily. He can have his health checks. He's never ever been aggressive with us. Now, to be fair, because he's been hatched here on site, he's been handled from day one, so that has a lot to do with it. But that criteria, temperament and a calm temperament, is the most important thing we look for. It doesn't matter if he meets every other criteria. If he's not calm with us, if he's not calm with the hens, he doesn't go forward, because it's not fair to our buyers for any chicks which come from eggs which he has fertilized. As you've seen, Ramesses is very calm with us, but he's also very calm with the hens. One of the biggest things we look for in a breeding cockerel is one that asks for permission before he treads the hens. Now, treading is the act of mating, and what happens is the rooster will climb onto the back of the hen, he'll grab the hen's comb with his beak to stabilise himself, and if this is done forcefully, the hen's comb can be torn, he can scratch the back of the hen, and it's really not pleasant for the flock at all. So we're looking for a rooster who does a little dance, asks for permission, and only ever treads the hens when the hens squat down and wait for him to mount them. Ramesses does this, and he's the perfect temperament of breeding cockerel for our flock. The next most important criteria that we're looking for with the breeding cockerel is conformity to the breed standards. And why is that important? Well, we sell our excess hens and some of our excess cockerels, and our buyers want as close to the breed standards as possible. If they don't get it from us, they'll go elsewhere. And those sales pay for the food which the chickens eat and for any infrastructure that we need to invest in to keep our flock going. As a small holding, we're trying to make them not necessarily commercially viable, but at least cost neutral. So breed conformity is really important to us, and we're using the standards published by the Orpington Club of Great Britain. Ramesses is still quite a young cockerel. At the time of filming, he's only 26 weeks, so he's got quite a way to go before he gets into his full plumage. But as the Orpington Club of Great Britain requires, he does already have the profuse, soft and loose plumage that he needs. His carriage is bold, he's got a deep body, it's broad and it's cobby. His saddle is wide, his chest is broad, it's deep and it's well rounded, and he does have the small wings that the Orpington Club ask for. They are nicely formed and he does carry them in a horizontal position. In comparison to his body, his head is small and neat, and it's fairly full over the eyes. He does have a single comb, and it's evenly serrated and free from side sprigs. He really is a great example, and it does mean that any chicks which come from eggs which he fertilised should be great examples going forward. The third aspect of the ideal breeding rooster and cockerel is one of size. So Ramesses here has got a fantastic sweet nature, and he's also a great example of the breed. So he's got that great conformation. He's also enormous, which for us as smallholders is wonderful. When you've got a clutch of eggs that's hatching from a breeding flock, roughly for every hen that's hatched, there's going to be roughly one cockerel. And something needs to happen with those cockerels. Now, if we're in a commercial flock, normally someone's paid to sex the chicks as soon as they come out of the egg, and cockerels will be culled almost immediately, but that doesn't sit very well with me, and it doesn't with Hugh either. A chick fights its way out of the egg for 24 to 48 hours and then almost immediately loses its life. So we've decided to do something else. Whether it's hen, whether it's cockerel, we grow them to maturity. And at that point, some of the cockerels will be sold, although there's a very limited market. We could probably sell 1 in 10, but it's very, very limited, even with good examples of the breed like this. And the remaining cockerels become table birds. Now, I know that's going to be difficult for some people to think about, but it's still a much better it's much better for them, I think, than losing their life as soon as they come out of the egg. They've had an opportunity to live, and once the avian influenza restrictions are lifted, which is only from the time of filming a couple of days away, they're going to be running around a green field, grazing all day, and really having an incredibly good quality of life. So that's much better for me. But it does mean that size is very, very important to us. So that is the third criteria that any breeding cockerel must meet. As you can see, he's just very happy to be sitting here at the moment. And I hope you can see just how big our Mr. Ramesses actually is. The final criteria that we look for is fertility. This is where most people would start, but for us there's no point in having a highly fertile rooster unless he's got the remaining 3 criteria that we looked at. So that's temperament, conformation and size. After all, the object of the exercise is to make the chickens cost neutral for our homestead, and we do that by making use of the natural broody tendencies of our Orpingtons to incubate, hatch and raise the next generation of chicks. We then sell excess hens to pay for their food and equipment that we need. We can only sell them if they're docile and good examples of the breed. We do have a separate video which shows the fertility testing that we went through when we selected Ramesses as our breeding cockerel, and I've put a link up above. It shows a lot of detail on the process, but for now I'm going to leave you with the gorgeous little chicks that we need to achieve. That's all 4 aspects that we look for in a breeding cockerel, and Ramesses meets every single one 100%, and we're so happy with them. If you have liked this content, take a moment and give me a thumbs up below. If you're not already a subscriber, take a moment, hit the subscribe button and hit that bell icon. You'll be notified of every new video as soon as it becomes available. If you've got any questions for me, leave it in the comments section, or if you've got an idea for another video, leave that in the comments too, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible, or even make that video. But for now, thanks for watching, and it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Ramesses, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.